What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Joining the program today is one of the top featherweight prospects in the United States. He just headlined Fury at 85 not that long ago, and he joins me right now. He is the man. Michael Aswell joins me, the
Let's
Texas Kid.
go.
Welcome, Michael. I appreciate you joining the show, my friend.
Thank you. I appreciate having me, man.
Well,
I've been
first,
watching. I've been seeing you too.
Well, we're both making moves, me and you. And but I will say this, I'm feeling a little prettier than you right now. I don't have a big
Yeah.
gash on my forehead. And let's start there. How's the cut doing? And how many stitches did you need?
Good. So I think they said 10. I think I got right after the fight, and they said just leave it in there for like 7 days, and then cut them out, and then it should be good. I think. I'm not really sure. I just been cleaning it up a little bit. It should be okay.
It
I haven't
might,
really took off this band-aid yet, so we'll see.
you might be in for a gnarly scar, but good thing
That's
you're
what
a
I'm hearing.
fighter. Let's talk a little bit about your last opponent and what a freaking war this was, man. Like, can you tell me, like, going into this fight, were you
Mm.
expecting him to like be the dog that he was in there? Was this the guy that you were expecting, or were you expecting maybe something a little different?
I mean, the fight played out exactly how we planned it. If I'm gonna be honest, I was expecting him to be tough. Have some pretty slick, strikes. I just knew eventually that that's how the fight was gonna end. The plan was just to break him and just, make him quit. Not saying that I guess he did, but that was the game plan and everything that we were planning and everything that we said we wanted to do, we did. So, yeah, no, I mean, I expected him to be tough, and he came out and he gave me a good scrap.
Well, not only was it a fantastic fight, but we're fighting under the bright lights, and this is an event that you were headlining and coming
Mm-hmm.
off of your most recent fight. That one didn't go your way. Like, as
Exactly.
this fight was like getting put together, and you
Uh,
knew you were going to headline it. Like, were you feeling like a lot of pressure to go out there and like perform in front of your people? Because on the broadcast, your people like took over the entire freaking thing.
you should have been there. I mean, these some of the people around were saying there was the most people they've ever seen. They're like, this is nuts, all the people that are here. But I mean, it's not really pressure for me to perform. It's more like that's just all the outside. If I were to lose, then now I'm on a 2-fight losing streak, and then I got to go back and win another one. And I just knew once I told Eric, I was after that last fight, I was a little banged up, and he was like, "Man, we got to get you back in there." December, and I said, "Eric, put me on the first fight of the year, your first card of the year. Let me headline it. Give me whoever you want. Like it really doesn't matter." And they're throwing out names, and they said this guy really wants to fight you. I said, "Sounds good to me. Let's book it up." Watch some film, and we said, "Okay, I think if you go look at my notes, it's like, oh, I think we got everything that we need and everything that we're gonna be working on, and set up the plan, and we executed it pretty close to where it was.
From a training perspective, like one of the things that I key in on is in regional MMA, not all main events are necessarily 25 minutes
Yeah,
and yours was like you had to
yeah,
train for a 25-minute fight as
hmm
opposed to a 15-minute fight.
sure.
And was that more difficult for you, like when you were prepping and getting ready for Fury 85?
No, I think I have some of the craziest cardios ever. I mean, I'd train already. Like if I was gonna be fighting in the main event, 5-round fight. It doesn't really switch. And I don't know. I fought 5 rounds before as an amateur, but I know it's 3 rounds, so I know 5-3 is a little different. But I still went five. Still having to like another round, and that was an amateurs. And I
Mhm.
went double distance, so even like a fight like that, that's a whole 15 minutes. That kind of got me prepared for when I, made my pro debut. First fight, 3 rounds, 5 minutes instead of 3 5-minute rounds or 3 3-minute rounds. As an amateur.
Let's talk about that very first round that you had with Altum. This
Mm,
was a very close round, I thought, and
you thought, yeah.
from a judging perspective, I think they'd have to give him the first because of the cut. And I was wondering how bad was that cut? Like, was your vision compromised? Maybe you can't answer that question. That's okay. But for
I can
you,
very well answer that question.
for you, like how in terms of protecting the cut and like did it affect you over the course of the fight?
Not at all. I mean, really, I guess where it was. I mean, you can kind of see it. I'm trying to get close. It's
Hmm.
like right between the eyebrows. So it's
Right.
not really under my eyes or anything. Um, they literally just cut, and it didn't really bleed. When it got cut, the doctor said after the fight, they told me it didn't bleed because it cut a muscle. So instead of cutting a vein, like the other like cuts that you see, that gash and stuff, it cut a muscle, so it kind of just looked very ugly. And I had no idea how it looked. I had no
Mhm.
idea how bad it was. When it hit, it didn't even hurt. It just kind of felt like a poke from a shot or a needle or something. Like it just kind of didn't really hurt. And then I got to the corner, and the cut man like threw my coaches to the side and said, like, I need to like go to work. And I was like, all right, whatever. Like, not thinking it was that bad. And then it didn't bleed the whole fight, so I never knew how bad it really was. My
Mhm.
coaches didn't say a word about it. They didn't say one thing about it. They just so I really didn't know how bad. So I just fought like I didn't like it was like a nothing. And then I look after the fight, and it's freaking. I was like, whoa! I had no idea.
It was pretty gnarly, and as the fight progressed, I mean, there are a few things that I noticed, and it was number one, like the striking exchanges were really good. But going into like as the fight progressed, like I started sensing you like pulling ahead of him. I started seeing him start to fatigue a little bit. I thought your cardio looked a lot better, and then I also thought that you were getting the better of a lot of these striking exchanges. And when I go back and I listen to the commentary and I kind of like listen to what people are saying online. Like to me, I gave him the first round because of the cut, but I gave you second, I gave you the third, and I was just curious. Like, did you, in your mind, as you were getting ready to go into the fourth, were you thinking the exact same thing as me, or were you thinking like, I don't know where these scores are right now?
I so I thought I was up 4-0.
Hmm.
I mean, during the fight, I didn't ask or nothing. I didn't really say like, what do you think that was right there. I was kind of just in the zone, really. I guess looking back, I guess the first is the closest you could give him something, and I feel like the rest aren't even. You can't even. It's not even close. You
Hmm.
know. Otherwise, in the fight, I just felt that it was a good fight. Like I was having so much fun that I was like, I can't even imagine my people out there what they're thinking, because I was really, really just enjoying myself in the cage. And I remember I wasn't really sure what round it was, and I looked up. It was the fourth round, and I was like, and I kind of just smiled. I was like, "Wow, I got two more rounds." And I saw him fade, and it really was like the half of the second round. I felt like he kind of just faded, and third round he was super tired, and then like I was gonna finish him in the first like minute of the fourth, and then he caught me with the elbow, and then I slipped, and then all that happened. But then he really got tired after that.
I felt like after he tried to grapple with you on the ground and he tried to sneak in a submission and that wasn't going to work and you got back up on your feet, he
It,
knew like that was kind of it for him. That's
that
kind of
was his last hope, was the submission, like getting a choke or something. His face, like when we got up from that exchange, his face was just like, "Fuck, like
yeah.
this fucking crazy." Like,
Well, and you hurt him again, and you got a TKO at the very end, and I was curious. Like to me, I thought the fight was over at
yeah,
the end of that round. Were you
yeah.
thinking the exact same thing that the fight was over?
I After the end of the fourth, I heard the bell like ding ding ding, so I knew that it was done. He didn't know that. There's no way, because I was ground and pounding him. So I knew it was going to the fifth.
Hmm.
Like, okay, whatever. My coach is yelling. He's still not. He hasn't stood up. Because after that fourth round, he just didn't even like go to the stool. He was just sitting on the ground. And my coach is like, he's still sitting down. He's. And I'm just whatever. My cut man's still working on my every single round. My cut man was just, making sure it didn't bleed. And so usually the doctors come and check on the cut every round, just to make sure it's good or whatever. And whatever. I thought the fifth round was gonna start. I was ready to go. Cut was fine, and then they stop it, and the doctor comes in, and I'm like, oh, I guess they're gonna come check on my cut, or I don't know, whatever. I was ready to go. It didn't matter, and they beeline to him, and I don't know. I just had a weird feeling that it was over. Like I don't know, like, and then I saw him just wave it off, and I didn't really hear what was going on. I didn't really see what was going on. They were just like doing whatever they were doing or saying whatever they were saying to him.
After the fight, did anyone ever tell you, like, did you talk to him or did his coaches talk to you? Like, did anyone ever tell you what really happened?
I was trying to say this on the Fury podcast. So I didn't really after the fight. He just told me like you showed up today or something. I was like I always show whatever. That's
Mhm.
one. So after the fight, I was getting my stitches, and the doctor that was doing my stitches was the same person that was the same doctor that called the fight.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so he's doing the stitches and he's talking and he's telling me he's like that kid was like so done. Like he could not have continued. Like I guess just fatigue wise or like he was just done. His face was whatever. But the doctor was like he literally couldn't go. And I was just like okay. I was like yeah. I mean I figured, but like I guess let him go out of his shield. I guess if he wanted to, but I think he was so tired that he couldn't even argue that he was tired.
It didn't seem like it seemed like he was happy that the fight was done.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of looked like he was like hoping someone would step in, but like we're fighters, so we're not gonna say like no. But he
Hmm.
didn't say like yeah either. Like when we rewatched the fight, like they kind of just pan to him and he's kind of like no reaction. He's just kind of like I don't know. I thought he was like not there concussed or still a wobbled or I don't know. I really have no clue just from what the doctor told me and from seeing it. But I mean, we know. I feel like we knew what would have happened in the fifth,
Hmm. Well, I
right?
don't
I
think.
mean,
I mean, I thought the fight was over. Actually, I was just
yeah,
surprised that it even got to that point. But
right.
overall, like when you go back and you look at that fight now, and I'm sure you've watched it a couple different times. Like, were
Yeah,
you able to execute your game plan for the most part? Did you do
dude,
all the things that you had planned to do in that fight?
everything, like everything. I think the only thing I didn't do was throw one punch that we were really working on, but I
Hmm.
think I do it in the fifth to like end it because the plan really, like, legitimately was to go in there and just hit him all the time. Like, if he's gonna get one, we got to get two or three back every time. The game plan was for me to go in there and pressure him every second of the fight. Me to take over the exchanges, to be first in every exchange, to constantly feint, to draw out his punches so I can draw out his punches and then hit him after the punches are drawn out. And that's what I did I mean, that's what it seemed like I did every round. I went straight to him. I hit him in the face a lot, and just mixed it up and try to, you know, we were just working on my timing and we're working on my rhythm. And then I, the plan was to break him and to literally like for him to say like I don't want to do this anymore. And I think that's literally exactly what happened.
Oh,
Like it was so crazy. It was so like our coaches were looking at each other and they were telling me like, because it's our first fight together. I just trained with them for 6 weeks for this camp, pretty much like 6 to 8 weeks. We never been in the corner together. We never worked together, and we really didn't say nothing, too much. I was so in the zone, like it was really just like keep doing it. Like you look good, good work. I mean, a little more head movement here, but maybe more add a punch to the combination. 3 punch, 4 punch. But I was really just rocking, dude. I really felt like good in there. Like I was floating almost. I was just kind of finding everything, and we were kind of on my rhythm and timing. It just felt good. I don't need to stop barking.
well, sir, it was a very impressive performance that moves you up to 8-1. And like, what's
Yeah,
next for you? Like, I look at the landscape of regional MMA, and
yeah,
these are my words, not yours. I don't really know what else makes sense for you at regional MMA anymore.
right. Well, I'm fine for the belt if I don't get caught up, I guess, because I guess where it's in that weird frame where it's like, hey, they'll call you like, can you make weight 2 weeks? Da 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 da. So I'm ready for that. I like to fight at short notice. I feel like I can shock some things up. I feel like my cardio is good enough to last too on a short notice fight. Um, but if not, then we fight for the belt for Fury against Nate Richardson. From what Eric's telling me, I went on the podcast, so fight for the belt, and then if I win the belt, then I'm like, right, we really should be gone after that.
Well, I hope I don't see you fight for the belt. I hope you get an opportunity to make it up. I think after 9 fights and amount of success that you've had at this level, I'd like to see you compete at that next level. And when you look at the weight class in the UFC, are there like certain guys that you look at and you're like, man, I really, really, really want to fight this dude?
uh, so I don't really know too many of the younger prospects that I could see, but I know like when I was watching maybe not too long ago, and like he was in my weight class. He's not anymore. Chase Hooper. I was like, dude, oh my God, I would love to fight Jason. I just think stylistically, like, I would match up well. And I was like, dude, I would love to fight that dude at 45.
So another question about you, like I look at you and I kind of like, I see the 45, but then I also see like, I'm like, man, I wonder if like this guy can do like 55 too. Like, is like,
Oh,
are you like 100% certain, like 145 pounds, like that's going to be it for you? Cause I kind of look, I'm like, man, this guy looks like an in-betweener. Like he could also do 55.
I'm definitely an in-betweener. I'm still growing. I mean, I'm only 23, so like I'm still like forming into my body. I feel like I think when I get a legit like nutritionist and like a legit like where I'm living a healthy lifestyle, like eating good all the time, and my body's kind of formed to where it is that 45 is gonna be nice and it won't be too hard. But I'm still an in-betweener, so like eventually, probably when I don't want to cut weight anymore, I'll just hop up to 55 and do that and make my life easier eventually. So.
I do think that that's probably where we're going to see you at the next level at some point. Cause I look at things, I'm just like, he's pretty big for 145
Or
pounds.
I
So.
wouldn't mind taking like short notice at 55 or something.
Yeah.
Like if I can't get a 45 fight, like I'll fight a short notice at 55. I feel like that'd be cool.
Well, what was really cool is the fact that you pulled up after the fight. I appreciate your time, Michael. I know that you have other things that you need to do rather than talk to me, but I wanted to give you an opportunity. If there's any sponsors or people that you'd like to thank before I let you go, why don't we do that?
Okay, you want to do that right now?
Let's do it.
One of my top sponsors, the Ritz in Houston, Rich Cabernet. My boy Rick Haas. My uncle he's got a fencing company, Aswell Fencing and Gate Company. If you need a new fence. I know my cousin, Aces Performance, works on cars, all in Houston, by the way. Laredo Taqueria, my family owned taqueria. My boy Levi has a stock trading company. If you into forex or stock trading, I know there's a bunch of other people. All my others, those are some of my big sponsors. So all my other people that take care of me, I know my neighbors, and I know all my other sponsors that are there. So I mean, those are my main people. My coaches at 4 Ounce, my mom, my dad, my sister, my girlfriend, all my friends.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate you showing up to the program today, sir. And again, congratulations on a very, very impressive performance. I liked what I saw, and I hope that we see you fight in the UFC very soon.
Me too. I hope so. Me and you both.